Are you ready to be in the spotlight? Are you ready to share your story with the world? Well, Snails with No Shells is where you need to be. Available on all digital platforms, Facebook, and YouTube. Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Where did we go wrong? We were doing so well.
My interpretation. Get your copy today.
Welcome to the Own It magazine. My name is Marisa Bludorn. I am your host. I am the editor-in-chief of Own It magazine and publishing, and I am so excited. This is a project that I wasn't thinking about doing this. I was not thinking about doing this, and then suddenly God had a different plan for me, and He inspired me to gather 57 folks to share their stories, to share their expertise, to speak from the heart, and take center stage and own it. Without further ado, I have with me some of the authors from our upcoming project that's going to be released next month. Actually, it's getting ready to be, I'm thinking March. We getting ready to release this Sunday. Oh my God. And those who think that we are not in alignment, we getting ready to do this thing. I'm super excited. Taking center stage and owning it. Me is CEO and executive producer, Miss BJ Martin. She is my co-host from Sweetheart Before I Say I Do, and editor-in-chief of Off the Bench magazine. Mark Wiggins is in the house. LaVon McMillan, she is in the house with us, the advocate for our young people and our kids. Oh my God, we are taking things and owning it. So excited to be here with you guys. Before we go in, I want to entice our audience. We are not only doing this anthology, we are not only being transparent, sharing our stories, sharing our victories, telling our secrets of how we make it through, how we press through the mess to get to God's best. But we are going to have a funky good time here in the DR. And let me take a few minutes to entice you to join us. Welcome. We are here with the Own It anthology and just a few of our authors. We have about 57 authors for this project. And this project was really just saying, hey, let's give some inspiration. Let's come together, give some folks some inspiration. Let's have real conversations with real people. So this project ranged from just sharing stories of trials and tribulations and overcoming. Last night we had a live, and Amina shared with us her story about struggling with lupus as a child. And if you see, BJ Martin is in the house with me.
Hey!
Share a little bit with the audience. What made you decide to come along with this woman and and do this thing with us? Write, share, be transparent. What does it mean to you to own it?
Well, I decided to be a part of this. This is one piece of the path that's on the journey that we're on together. Initially, I'm a contributing writer to the Own It magazine, in case you all did not know that. And so, Marisa, I look to her as a friend and a leader. So your leadership speaks volumes. Where you have great leadership, you have a great audience, and you have great people up under you or great people that you work with. So it was no way I was going to say no to this project. No way. I had to be a part of it. So I'm looking forward to where it's going. I really am. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm all these kind of things. Then you took it and you talking about level up, talking about we're doing this in the DR. I'm like, wait a minute. Dominican Republic, we're going to do this in Dominican Republic? Okay, yeah. I know we said level up for 2023, but geez, okay, well, I'm ready.
Yes. And so I'm super excited. We have one of our co-authors here, Jeanette Schuler, and she just gives us a shout out. Woohoo, being released this Sunday. Yes, amen. She says, she also says to us, hello, beautiful ladies, guys. And also, I'm glad that Mark is here. I see he's off camera. He's got to take care of some things. But Mark is here because I wanted the audience to see that Own It and this Own It anthology is not about women. It's about people. The Own It platform is about people. We, BJ?
I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, we speak volume. We speak to across generations. That is my platform, and that's been my heart. And so I really wanted to make sure, kind of tug Mark, because we all have busy schedules. We are in high demand, each and every one of us. And so we all have busy schedules, but I really wanted the audience to see that men are in this anthology. It's not a lot of them, but there are men in this anthology, and they have a lot to share. And as I mentioned when I brought him on, this is the editor-in-chief of Off the Bench magazine. He is the speaker man, and Mark specializes in teaching people how to take center stage and own it and having a voice when it comes to public speaking. So, Mark, share a little bit about what you do and how you teamed up with me.
Well, first of all, I was told I would be the only man in the books. I want some reparations for that. I'd like to be on all our people. So apparently there's some other men in the magazine in this book. I'm like, okay, all right. I guess I'll share this 57 folks. That's amazing. Again, I'm gonna piggyback on what BJ just said. Is that it is a testament to who you are in your spirit. The funny story goes. I was in Philadelphia, and it never, you know what, Marisa, every time I tell the story, it sounds a little shady when I first started talking about how we met, but it is what it is. I was in Philadelphia. I was in town to speak, and I was headed to Cigar Bar to hang out with my brothers at Kappa Psi Fraternity Incorporated, yo. And I hit up for the old Uber Lyft ride, and up pulls Marisa. So I jumped in the car. I said, oh, she kind of cute, whatever. Say, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. She goes, oh, I speak. You speak? Well, I speak too. Oh, my God, let's talk. She grabbed my whole, let me put you in, follow me on Instagram. I didn't get a number. I didn't do nothing. I followed Instagram in almost a year to the day. We didn't talk much more after that. No, whatever. Almost a year to the day, she reaches back and says, hey, I want you to get in this magazine. And I'm like, okay. And I advertised my podcast. I'm like, I helped the sister out. I appreciate you. I threw my podcast in there. And then she came back and says, oh my God, you know what? You should have your own magazine. I said, Marisa, I don't write that much. I don't want to write every month. Like, that is not what I do. I'm a speaker. She said, fool, not just you, other people. And then Off the Bench magazine was born. That's how we met. And it's been several, I don't know, about 5, 6, 7 years ago at this point where we met. And so just being this project is amazing. I don't do anthologies a lot, let's be clear. I've done them early in my speaking career. I've been speaking for almost 30 years. I've done a lot of them early. I produced 8 books, 8 anthologies on my own with my business partner. So I was not excited about, I don't lend my voice to a whole lot of projects. But this one I had no choice but to do and support. So that's why I'm here.
And it's so incredible because if you gotta follow, first of all, you gotta follow BJ, snails with no shells. You have to follow BJ. She does her own, she's an executive producer, so she has her own show. And the one thing about what I do is it's not about me, it's about showcasing others and letting them have a voice where people are listening. For me, I want to share and let them hear, diversity, hear different opinions, get different viewpoints. So Snails with No Shells is BJ. Just put her into YouTube. Just put her name out there. If you put Miss BJ Martin, trust me, you Google her, she comes up. Do you understand me? She comes up. Same thing with Mark Wiggins. Don't sleep on them. Make sure she has a podcast. Reach out to her, connect to her on her podcast, get on her show, get on her, she does StreamYard Live too. Get on her show, get visibility, whether you advocate for something, whether you have an expertise in something. People need to hear how to get stuff done. That's Own It is all about. So the book is this, it's the book plus it's a journal. But it's not a journal like any other journal. It's a journal that carries the chapters over from the anthology into the journal. You're not going to open up this journal and it's just going to be lines. You're going to open up the journal and it's going to be very provoking thoughts for each day. It's going to be something to trigger you, but it's going to trigger you in different areas. You may find Mark's chapter very, very compelling, and how he brings you through the process of transformation and getting in touch and tapping in deeper. His chapter is called The Power Shift, right? It's all about mindset and shifting your mindset. Follow these people. Don't let them just get in front of you. Don't passe. Don't do that, because what you need to do is get with the people who are ready to give you the information. And it's not always about a monetary gain. It's about making an impact and making a difference in the life of others. So it's not always about money. It's about how do we get things done? That's the biggest gap that we have, is that folks don't really get to know how do you really get stuff done in a drill down level of detail, so that they know, oh, this is how they're doing it. So, and everyone has their own different methodology. And so we want to do a shout out to Eve. Eve, thank you for joining us. Tracy Cox, love you, sis. Miss you so very much, girl. Miss you, and thank you for your blessings. And so anyway, let me just do a check. Where'd you go? I had somebody backstage. I ain't bring her in fast enough.
Well, let me ask you a question, since we over here holding it down for a hot second. What are the guests that come onto Snails with No Shells? Who are you talking to?
Oh, I talk to any and everybody. I talked to a man that did like 20 some years in prison.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Went in jail at age 18. Did a few years, about 10 years, 15 years, came out, went back in again. Okay, so I interviewed I interview entrepreneurs. I interview people. They might have an event coming up, for the weekend, or they might have an event coming up next year. I definitely interview plenty of anthologies. Mm-hmm. So it just depends. I don't have there's no criteria, to be on, because I'm an audience for everybody, for any age group. Because I've interviewed some millennials as well who are doing some things in the community.
Right.
So it's like the age range of my shows in the 20s to 60s, So I don't have there's no criteria. Just as long as you're doing something, trying to change the world.
Absolutely. I agree with that. This is what on Off the Bench podcast. For me, it's always been about the story. Even my original podcast was on Blog Talk Radio, and I just wanted stories. I want people just to share how they got over. That was my thing. Tell us how you got over. What did you have to do? What didn't you have to do? What is it? Because in that, that moment became the Off the Bench moment that people would resonate with, because they were struggling with the same thing too. And they're trying to figure out, how do I get there too? Maybe you have that right message at the right time in the right place to give you what you need, right? Who knows? Like you said, you got to talk to a bunch of people and get that message out there. So that's kind of the way my podcast is set up as well, and the magazine, because it is about that shift of the mindset to getting off the bench. It is a moment in time where you finally say, it's beyond my dreaming, it's beyond my vision board, it's beyond prayers. It's beyond all that. Because you got to this point, get up and move. Right?
That's right.
Are you just gonna sit there praying? It's just nothing
wrong
with
it. Really, what the scripture says is pray and do. It says faith without works
is what?
Dead.
Is dead. So you gotta pray. You got to do some things in the spirit realm, but then you got to come in the natural, and you got to do the work in the natural realm. So yeah, so oh my God, it's just, you see the fire that's in the house. Like, fire is in the house. So Levon, I need you to come in, take center stage, and own it, and let the folks know what you're doing, because you're doing some serious work advocating for our young people, and teaching parents to advocate for their children. So share your background.
Well, great evening, everyone. As y'all was saying, you gotta move. As y'all can see, I don't know if you can see because we blurred, but I'm in the car still moving and shaking. My day is not done. But I wanted to make sure that I kept my word to Marissa to come on live today and share advocate for me as well as myself and my experience. So one, I want to thank her. We met through a mutual friend, that Denise Johnson. And Denise was like, I think I want you to meet somebody. And I was like, okay. And lo and behold, my children's book was in the magazine. And so we're still moving forward and working on projects. So again, my name is Levon McMillan. I'm the founder and CEO of Advocate for Me, LLC in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I am a mother of a child that was born at 2 pounds, 2 ounces, 15 years ago. I can't even believe it, almost 16. Wow. And so that started my journey of becoming his advocate. Yes. And so when you talk about moving full forward and nonstop, it's been nonstop for the past 16 years, as well as adding another kid, marriage and separation all in one. So I just been living life, and how they say it now? Life is lifing. That's exactly how my life is. And so along with that, God just kept giving me a vision to like help other families. And so with my son, I wound up doing early intervention and becoming a special instructor. And then I kept having a lot of parents call me even after I closed their case, and they kept asking me for resources and information. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, giving them resources. And then somebody actually approached me about an anthology in Chicago, and I did the anthology with them. And at first I turned her down like 3 times because I was like, I don't have nothing to talk about. I'm just the mom taking care of her son. Wow. And she was the one that instilled in me that I did have a story. And so my story, my chapter in that anthology actually was Advocate for Me. And so Advocate for Me then rolled out into a business. So when God gives you a vision, you better run with it. And so Advocate for Me, our main goal is to offer resources, advocacy, and training to families who are caring for their special needs child. And so that was my lifestyle, and I wanted to help others. So we do an annual Autism Moms Night Out in April where we take moms out. We celebrate them, give them dinner. We do a small gathering and do pampering for them. And then our main mission is making sure that, again, like I said, we're giving the resources and teaching them how to advocate for themselves. So we do 2 virtual conferences where we have other guests come on and just pour into our families and encourage them to move forward. And then as well as meeting Marissa, I'm excited that we'll be launching our own magazine. Yes. So we working in the backgrounds. I got a great team because I am also an educator. So I'm working in a school as well, and going back to school myself. So that's why y'all see me in this car, because my days are long. But I'm glad to be a part of the anthology. I've been looking at the pictures for Dominican Republic every time I go on my lunch break at work, and I'm like, "Ooh, I can't wait till April get here."
Oh my God!
Talk about taking a load off.
Honey, let me tell you something. There is something, and so talking about that, a couple of things. I just want to take care of house. Eve says, so exciting. Eve is also going to have us. We are doing a book tour, people, because now we're out of the publication stage where we're like doing all of that. So this is the final stretch of all of that. And now we're going to be on different platforms, sharing in front of different audience. You're going to be in Chicago because that's where Eve is in the Chicago area. Then you're going to be in Virginia, the DMV area. You're going to be in Atlanta. You're just going to be in California. You're going to be across the nation, doing these live interviews and going on the book tour. And that's where these things begin to kick up, because we're focusing on, getting, the book to publishing and getting into the hands of our readers, our viewers, so that they can be inspired. And just like you said, Levon, you said something that's very important. People are looking for answers, not they're looking for inspiration. They want inspiration. They need it for motivation. They need inspiration for motivation to keep them motivated, but they need answers. They need answers. They need to do some introspective work. So some of it is introspective work, because we cover life, career, and business, because we are covering you in the totality of everything that you have to show up in. You got to show up in your life, right? Some people don't want to be in business, but you got a job. So your job shouldn't just be a job. It should be a career, because when it becomes a career, now you're looking to get promoted. You're looking to develop the skills and the competencies, and you want to get on a career path for development. So we deal with career path and career development. Then we're dealing with business, because we are all entrepreneurs and CEOs. All of us in the house are entrepreneurs and CEOs. And so we are thinking of the big picture. Levon, you're blessing the people. You're having galas, you're having events supporting and rejuvenating the moms and the parents. You're giving visibility as an executive producer to folks. We are bringing answers. We are giving them answers. And in this season, in this time, folks don't want to just dish out their money. They need answers so that they can change their situations and change their lives and stop being stagnant and are able to begin to move forward. That is going to continue to keep them motivated, driven, and determined and defiant to say, hey, if she's an executive producer, I can be an executive producer. If Marisa is having international conferences, I can have international conferences. And you see all the magazines, all Mark's magazines behind him. You see all them covers? Those are all Mark's magazines. That is sharp. I need that.
I love it.
I need that backdrop. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. I love it. So we are going to be in the DR. I'm going to be real corny, and I am going to give us another look at what that looks like. So those people who were not here at the top of the show, you're going to see it again. It's only 34 seconds. Just bear with me and let me tease you. Journey of nearly a year has brought us full circle to a conference and retreat here in the Dominican Republic. When you write, you are a speaker. Am I not right, Mark? When you write, you're a speaker. You got to speak about what you wrote about, right? And so my vision for this was to not just have us write a book, but for us to write a book and come together and present it. Present the journal in a workshop, present the journal in a panel discussion, the book in a panel discussion. So we are having a full-fledged conference here, April 26th through the 30th. We will be, everyone will arrive. We'll have that, reception, welcome reception. The next day, we're going to go on an excursion so we can relax and unwind and get ready to receive all the knowledge in the next 2 days, which we'll have Friday and Saturday will be the full day of conferences. And those who have attended conferences, you know what that's all about. You have your general session, you have your keynote, you have your panel discussion, you have your breakout workshop sessions, all of that. That's exactly what we're going to experience here in the Dominican Republic. But one thing you have to do, if you want to change your situation, you got to leave your country. You got to go to another place where you're not focused on all of the pulling, the taking away. You can then come here and then focus on what's next for you. And if you already have something in motion, you can get the support, you can get the rejuvenation that you need to push it all the way through and make it happen in 2023. We're at the bottom of the half hour, and I just want you guys to take an opportunity to share with our viewers how they can get in touch with you, how they can connect with you. And those interested in participating in the conference, just go to tcsconsultantllc.com, and all the information and details are there for the conference. And you could always message me on Messenger or reach out to me, on any of the social media platforms. Miss BJ Martin, go ahead and share with the audience your closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts?
Yeah, tell them how they can get connected to you.
Okay, so yeah, I'm on Facebook, BJ Martin. I'm on Instagram, Ms. _BJ Martin. I'm on LinkedIn, Miss BJ Martin. I'm even on TikTok, Miss BJ Martin. And I'm on YouTube. Yes, my podcast is on YouTube. It's under Miss BJ Martin, and it's under Snails with No Shells podcast as well on YouTube. I'm everywhere. You can find me. There's no reason
where you want to be, right?
That's right. There are no excuses. I even signed up for Twitter. I don't know how that Twitter go, but we'll see.
It's cool. I like Twitter.
Yeah. So yes, I'm everywhere. You can and just DM me. Hit me up. Let me know what you got going on. You know what you got. What you got going on? Because I told it's time for these closetpreneurs
to come out.
Yes, y'all in these closets making the best hamburgers in town. Nobody knows it but your kids.
Yes.
Come out the closet and let's get to it. Somebody needs to know what you're doing, and that's what I do. I it's all about you. What you have going on. I highlight you. And don't think that what you do was not important enough for everybody to know about it, because it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
And even if it's just one person that needs it, that's that's all you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So yeah, you can hit me up.
So Mark, you are up.
Thank you.
I got to go behind DJ for real. Okay. Again, thanks for having this forum, Marisa, and this book and this thing, and thank you for the guidance and coach on this Off the Bench magazine journey. It has opened a lot of doors and provided a platform. I like BJ. It's really not about me. I've done a lot. I've done a great deal. I've liked helping people to get their message out, to tell their story, because if you can learn to tell your story, then you can tell your story, and your story is your product, service, or your platform. And then people get to know, like, and trust you. So we do those things inside the magazine and on the podcast. You want to find me? I am all over the place, but if you just go to offthebenchmagazine.com, it's offthebenchmagazine.com, you can get to Facebook, the Instagram, Twitter, because I got different names because I started it and then I try to integrate it. I want to start over. So it is what it is. But you can still find me there. Also subscribe to the magazine. It's a free subscription. And once you subscribe, what you will also get from me is every Wednesday I send out a 2, 3, 5 minute, depending on how I feel, called Woke Wednesday. And it's a hot drop on some thoughts and shares and motivations. And I will say this without fail. I'll run my script early on in the week, maybe Sunday or Monday. And I just go down my Instagram, Facebook Messenger, just drop it in. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know who it's going, wherever it stops. Without fail, someone always reaches back and I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that. And for me, that's all I need. Like you said, BJ, just need one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It just, if you can move the one, sometimes the one is me. But if they would just say, hey, that's encouraging that you are confirmed, that you are in alignment and doing what you're supposed to be doing, therefore you're most powerful when you're in your alignment, right? And you're off the bench and doing what you need to do, then other people are benefited by your presence. And if you're in your snail shell and you're not present, then you can't get out and infect the community and do what you need to do. And you doggone sure ain't owning nothing. I'm all over the place, wrong way. Owning nothing, you're there. You ain't owning nothing. So, and you can't do none of that when you're sitting on the bench. Anyway, I'll leave you with this.
Go ahead, mister.
Yes.
I'll leave you with this right now. And remember, as always, if you can reach your dreams with a step ladder, then they're probably too low. See you on the island.
Yes. Awesome. LaVon, you are up. Tell people how they can connect with you and also how they can help you, come alongside you, partner with you. I know that you're probably doing lots of fundraising, and this is an opportunity for them to, if their heart is led to help you in all that you're advocating to do.
Thank you. So you can follow me on multiple platforms. I got a great team, so they be multitasking while I be at work. So Instagram is advocate for me _2. Facebook is advocate for me. My LinkedIn is under my name, LaVon McMillan. And we also have a podcast that we launched during the pandemic because we couldn't get the resources out to families as we were doing before in person. So we're about to do a relaunch, but we are under multiple podcast platforms. But if you go on Instagram, you can find out all that information in my link tree in my bio. And then so we're advocate for me. We're a for-profit with a social mission, but my son started his own foundation, Jordan A. Smith Foundation. And so that is the nonprofit that we partner with to encourage families, to again, get resources, advocate for their families, as well as with his mission, he wants to make sure that he's giving back to the community, whether it's the lights going out in the car, whether it's the special needs community, neurodiverse, autism. So his goal is just making sure that he's giving back to those families as well. So start in March, we'll be doing linking up with the Ronald McDonald House, where we'll be doing volunteers coming in to help with them. And then again, we have like multiple different projects that we'll be working on throughout the year. So the best way to get all that information is to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And again, it's advocate for me _2, and Facebook is advocate for me, 2. So looking forward to meeting everyone in person in the DR.
Yes, honey, we're gonna do the darn thing here, boy. We're gonna really have a funky good time, and I just want to say thank you all for trusting me, believing in me, and being a part of this. This is legacy. Just think, it's nearly 1,000 pages, this project, and it speaks volume because 57 people committed to this project, and 57 people showed up. And you just have to say to yourself, thank you. You have to say to yourself, thank you, because each one of your experiences are going to touch somebody somewhere, and someone's going to admire you all for the work that you're doing, and be courageous enough to take the chance to do it themselves. And so this is so important because so many people are suffering in silence. They're suffering in silence. Financially, we talked about that earlier today. They're suffering in silence because they feel like no one believes in them. They believe in themselves, but they feel like no one else believes in them. Or they don't believe in themselves and they don't believe anyone else believes in them. This gives them a voice. This shouts out, take center stage, own it. This is your life, your career, your business. You are the CEO of your life, and it's time to make executive decisions. And one of those decisions is to come out of the shadows, to take center stage and own it. We are out, guys. We are at the top of the week. Have a funky good time. We will be back here Sunday because we launch Sunday. So get excited. Look, it's about to go down. All right, guys. Have a blessed week. I love you. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. We meet tomorrow night. But the rest of you guys, we will see you Sunday. Take care and be blessed. We're out.
my interpretation. Get your copy today.
Just my imagination, or is it just insanity?